I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director at Overshadowed Theatrical Productions. Welcome to this week's episode from the Wings, where we are in New York City, the city that never sleeps, because right now we're filming in the hotel and it is loud. So we are sorry if all through this episode there are people having a good time out there that you might hear a little buzz about. But in the meantime, we're going to tell you what we did tonight. We are in New York City. Now, the reason I have Jessica with us is because this was her pick, and it's because it's a very special show to her. She happened to be in it several years ago.
Merrily, We Roll Along is a story about three friends, and it takes you through their journey of idealistic young people on the brink of chasing their dreams, and continuing through when they're jaded and we see kind of what has happened with their lives. But the catch is, it's told in reverse. And so it actually starts when their lives are kind of disheveled and they're in their 40s and they're kind of sad. And
okay, kind of sad? It is way more than kind of sad. I was depressed at the end of Act 1. Not to say that the show wasn't good, but it's heavy. The musical was adapted from a play. It was a play first before it became a musical. It was written by Kaufman and Hart, who I think are just phenomenal comedic writers. They wrote one of my favorite comedy plays, which is George Washington Slept Here. If you've never read it, you need to go read it. It's so fantastic of a script. And so they wrote this, and the plot is very much the same from what I understand. And then it was adapted into the musical, and not very successfully. It's had a road to become as successful as today, and I think it's because of the chemistry of the leads, yeah? Or what else?
I would say yes and. So if we're going to talk about the first initial Broadway staging, it was done really differently. So they actually chose to have the whole entire cast be children.
Well, that would make a difference.
Because it's about being idealistic and your lives are on the brink and where is it going to go? And so they actually staged it with, I think, Jason Alexander, who's super famous now.
Yeah.
I think was only 20 or in his early 20s, and I think he was one of the older cast members. And so there were like late teenagers in the show. And they didn't have costumes, they just had t-shirts that said like Mary, Frank. And so it was a very stripped down version. When you're young and you think you're gonna make a difference and you're like, I'm gonna attack this world. But you don't always. The young people perform the roles, right? Who are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Who don't understand it all.
Exactly.
Right.
They've never been in a marriage. They've never faced adversity like
on the same level. Yeah.
Right? What I did like about these actors is they got that, but they also got the fun.
Yeah. I think that for me, I like to go see things that are uplifting, right? And it definitely did not fill me with hopes and dreams and warm fuzzies, but it was so well done that it was mesmerizing. I tried to picture it without the three main people in it. I feel like that is a great deal of the reason that the musical is as successful as it is and has achieved the popularity as it has. And it's evident their chemistry is so great. The directing team did so super well to build such a wonderful show. I loved the ensemble. I loved seeing them come out as different characters. I loved their vocal qualities were fantastic. I loved the different staging. And everybody seemed to have their own moment. Like they would sing the same song throughout the transition of time, but there was always one or two people that were different that were left on stage while everybody else reset the stage for the next scene. But they always gave us different faces to look at, and I thought that was really
Yeah.
great. Since it's not really an ensemble show, it was nice that they each got their little moments. Do you think that there's any content in it that would make it something that we should trigger warn our audiences about?
I mean, there's infidelity and some language.
Yeah, I felt like actually the first half had more language in it than the second half, and I was actually really sad about it because I was like, because I'm always looking for something that's a little bit meatier, and I thought, oh, this would be great, but there's no way. The language, and since in this day and age, authors really are not giving permission to people to take stuff like that out, it would be hard.
I wonder if some of it's ad-libbed.
Do you think
I
so?
don't really remember it all being in there, but I might have forgotten.
And it could be the revival that they updated
Maybe.
the script or whatever.
But
so,
I kind of understand in the second act,
yeah.
they've gone through show business and they're jaded and
Yeah.
their language is maybe a little bit more crass, and
Yeah.
as they're younger and more innocent, so it might have been a book choice.
Acting, 2 thumbs way up, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Music, I loved it. I didn't know that I was wasn't sure if I'd like it, but I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And I think that again plays into the fact that it was so well directed and so well performed. I loved it. So the set was very simple, but so streamlined that it was interesting to watch, and even had a few surprises along the way. When they dropped that red curtain, I was like, oh, where did that come from? That was really nice.
And a silver one.
And I also really enjoyed, the costumes weren't spectacular, but they told the story of the decades and time passing, and that was also really just fit together with this nice package. But I loved it, and I was very moved by it. So I hope you guys will find a way to see it sometime in the future, even if it isn't in New York. Until next time, this is just me.
And me.
Talking to you from the wings from New York! Because I'm not a huge Sondheim. Wow.
She's hungry.
Ham, yes please. I'm not a huge yeah, I'm not gonna try.